I think my favorite Nolan film is actually Interstellar. And I think it's because it's grounded in a father-daughter relationship. I mean, I can't, I hope by now you've seen Interstellar, but spoiler alert, the scene where he realizes that he's going to be like a couple decades late in seeing his daughter, that he's going to miss her entire childhood. Man, that scene, every time I see that scene, it absolutely crushes me. When he gets back in the ship and he sees all the memos and notes. Yeah. He sees her growing older. I have a little girl at home. You've got a daughter.
Older than him. It's like,
it's just mind bending. I think what he hit on that film is a primal, universal emotional thing because he tapped into parent child. Yeah. That for me is just, that's why it's his finest work, because it has all the cerebral, mind bending Nolan thinking stuff. But man, it also hit me in the gut and the heart.
And the score elevates everything. I mean, it's probably the most used score of any film in the
Instagram
world.
And TikTok.
On Instagram and TikTok.
Cornfield.
They use Cornfield all the time. I actually used some of those from some of my Shakespeare classes. But I think, Interstellar and Inception for me are two of the most mind-bending films that he's made. Tenet, I fell asleep. I just couldn't get
Tenet. I stopped. I was like,
I just didn't.
I didn't
love the idea of it, but
understand
I didn't understand it. And it kind of, if I don't understand a film, I don't necessarily have to understand it out of the gate.
Sure.
But it was so confusing that I thought I was bored.
Around minute 120, though, 120 minutes, you'd like to understand what the heck is going on in the film.
Minute 120.
Yeah. So Oppenheimer, some impressive things that Nolan did is that he refused to use any CGI. And so all of the effects were actually shot practically, which is really, really fascinating. And there's this great YouTube video online of this kid that tries to replicate. So when he's having the dream and you're seeing like the atoms and these little light kind of glares and flares. So this kid replicated it. He was so ingenious. He goes into like a blacked out garage with like black fabric all around him. And then he has like this one key light that he's shining. He experiments endlessly. This is what I love about YouTube. And he takes a fishing line and he ties a safety pin to it. And then he sets the camera's exposure just right so that, when you shoot like stars and you see those streaks of the stars when they're orbiting across the So it happens because you're letting in light for a longer amount of time versus being really fast. And so he did this thing and then you see it in the YouTube video. He absolutely replicates. So nobody knows exactly how.
He did it.
So
did he shoot it on film as well?
Yeah, he shot it on IMAX. I would say at least 75 millimeters. Massive, man. These cameras were massive. The film is massive. I forget how many football fields of film were shot for Oppenheimer.
And that's crazy because you think it would be so much easier to do it digitally, wouldn't it?
Oh,
and it would have probably saved him.
Sure.
But I think because he's an artist and he's probably somewhat of a purist.
100% a purist.
You know what I mean? I think that also adds that elevated value to the movie.
Yeah, he's an artist.
100%.
He's an artist. And, I think about like Sidney Pollack and artists who it's like, well, could you do it like this or could you do it like that? Yeah, no, but I want to press the paint into the canvas with my hand, his DP who won, beautiful guy, got up there with some cool sneakers and he just actually challenged and encouraged the next generation to not give up shooting on actual film because there's just something.
Which is a huge commentary against one of our episodes where we're talking about, AI creating all of this stuff.